I'm here with famed matchmaker Sean Gibbons. You fight. Talk to me about that first.
Great.
Mickey Rourke?
Yeah.
The actor?
The actor.
Did you win?
With the biggest and best fighters in the world.
What do you plan to do here for Filipino boxers? Yeah, we know Manny Pacquiao is on the tail end of his career. Do you see anyone?
Jack Tapora, Jerwin Ancajas, Marlon Tapales, John Rio Casimiro. A lot of Filipinos, if they just get the viewership.
What do you see in the Filipino?
They have the heart, they have the passion. They never say never. Leave a Filipino and watch Powcast.
Woo! There you go.
Go champ.
Boom. Right, Salud, Powcast Sports. We're here at Jerwin Ancajas camp here in Ternate, Cavite. I'm here with famed matchmaker Sean Gibbons. Sean, first of all, we know you as the matchmaker for Manny Pacquiao. I want to ask you first, how did you start in boxing?
Basically, I got into boxing with my cousin Sean O'Grady, who was a world champion back in 1981, a WBA champ. My uncle Pat O'Grady, and I started back in 1985 in Oklahoma City.
And the rest is history? Were you a matchmaker initially, or what was your involvement in boxing?
Basically, I started from everything. I set up the ring. I actually got in a fight, fought a few times. You know, sold the tickets, sold the program ad, did the matches. In Oklahoma, you're the promoter, you're the matchmaker. Sometimes you even have to fight in the ring. That's how I got my start.
Wow! So you do everything. First of all, you know, you mentioned a lot of things that you've done. You fight. Talk to me about that first.
Well,
a boxer?
Yeah, my uncle Pat O'Grady decided at one time, he's like, you need to have a fight, and I'm like, I'm scared to death. I don't even, you know, I'm not a fighter or whatever. So I tried it a couple times. I didn't do it well. I lost both times, but I decided, you know what, I can do some boxing. I can, you know, travel, go places. I you know, figure make a little money as I'm taking other boxers. So that's kind of how it all came about.
Okay. So you wasn't as successful as a boxer. 0-2?
No, actually, I ended up about 14-6.
14-6.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I fought the actor Mickey
not bad.
Rourke. Yeah, you know, it wasn't
you
great.
You fought Mickey Rourke?
Yeah.
The actor?
The actor.
Did you win?
We got a draw. We were both so bad that after the fight he ended up retiring because he figured if we can't beat a bum like me, then he's retired. But I've done much better. I've done much better in the matchmaking end of boxing than in the fighting end.
But you got the looks. Mickey Rourke went to acting. Why did you not go just act?
You know what? The way I boxed, it looked like I was acting as a bad fighter. So, you know, I just, I would have loved it, man. I love that business. That looks like a fun, exciting, always something different. But boxing brings a lot of that too. And being able to help fighters and help them achieve their dreams and do good things for people, that's kind of what brought me into the sport.
Okay, so that's how you started. What was the biggest break, you know, that you had in boxing so far? Aside from Manny Pacquiao, maybe how you really started big time in boxing.
Well, after I worked for myself up until about 85 to 97, doing a lot of club shows, working with different fighters through the Midwest. I went to work for Top Rank from 1997 to 2004. And that's when I really started to develop as a matchmaker under the Hall of Famer Bruce Trampler. And Mr. Pete Susans, and just started doing stuff. And then after I stopped working at Top Rank, I went to work for a Native American tribe called Sequan. Did that for 5 years, developed all kind of world champions, Carlos Baldemir, Israel Vasquez, Julio Diaz, Celestino Caballero, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. I've had a chance to work with the biggest and best fighters in the world, and I've worked with some that weren't so good. But every fighter I had, I enjoyed them. We're still friends today. So I look at it as a success.
All right. It looks like a lot of name fighters there, but is there any other name fighter that you work with as a matchmaker?
Yeah, well, you know, I manage fighters also, and the one that I'm the most proud of is Orlando Series Salido.
So I know that guy.
Yeah, Salido was a
very tough guy.
Ultimate warrior.
Yes.
3-time world champion, just an overachiever, and we had a tremendous run for 20 years. Other guys, not so well known, Cesar Juarez, tough kid from Mexico. There's just been so many. I can't recall them all. Of course, Jerwin Ancajas in the background here sparring is one of my proudest moments to help him achieve a title. John Rio Casimiro, another guy. You know, we were in a riot in Argentina together defending the Philippines.
Wow, okay. My question is, how did you start, or when did you start working with Filipino boxer? Who is the first Filipino boxer that you worked with?
Well, basically, I have to thank the Senator Manny Pacquiao for giving me the opportunity to work with his fighters. So I would help match the undercard fights. Bernabe Concepcion, trying to think of guys, Jay Harinson, Ronnie Baldonado, just a bunch of different guys. Anybody that Manny would bring to put on his undercards, I would help match. And that's how I started. And then really the first big break that I had with the guy was John Rio Casimiro winning the IBF World title at 108. And then since then, working with Coach Joven Jimenez, Joven Sports, we've been able to help a lot of guys, you know, achieve their goals.
Okay. Now, you know, you started working with Filipino, and I'm seeing a lot more of you here in the Philippines as compared to others, at least from what I know. You know, what made you decide to work more now in the Philippines with Filipino boxers? What do you see in the Philippine boxing?
Well, first of all, Senator Manny Pacquiao is very committed to helping Filipino fighters. So to do that, I have to be here more to put fights together. Like we just did a great show June 8th at Resorts World with Michael Dasmariñas, who we were able to get him to #1 in the world in the IBF, fighting for the world title, Sammy Salva. So if you're going to do shows, you have to be, you know, here to get things done. And of course, when you're working for the senator, being here, if you need it at that moment, it's a lot easier to do it from here than it is 15 hours away in the States. 15
hours away, and I wonder if is it a challenge to you working here in the Philippines with the weather and, you know, being here in the kind of a jungle, kind of a cowboy gym?
Yep. No, you know what? Boxing's boxing. Anywhere in the world you're at, the ring's the same, fighters are the same. How you match, you know, you just look at the strengths and the weaknesses. So no matter if you were in the jungle in Africa, you're in the Philippines, the U.S., Mexico, you know, it's all boxing. It's not rocket science. It's all pretty much the same no matter where you're at in the world.
Okay, so what is the future, or what do you plan to do here for Filipino boxers? You know, what can we expect from you here?
Well, that's great you asked that question. It's a very exciting time because we just partnered with ABS-CBN to show Jerwin Ancajas' fights and hopefully do like a monthly series. So that'll give a lot of guys opportunity to work shows, and that's the idea, is to do a kind of a small show once a month, and then every maybe quarter do a bigger show, do some kind of a world title eliminator. And the ultimate goal is to have Jerwin Ancajas defend his world title right here in the Philippines in one of the venues.
Okay, we know Manny Pacquiao is on the tail end of his career. Do you see anyone that could probably, you know, replace him?
Well, it's again, no one ever replaces
or
the center.
At least, yeah,
at least just captivate the people's minds, get them excited, get behind them. Again, coming with Jerwin, who's the longest reigning super flyweight champion of the world, what he needed was to be on a network that you're seeing. There's a lot of viewers. And I think when the people at ABS-CBN watching the shows and different platforms see him, you know, he has a chance to definitely step out and be a guy that could, you know, get the people behind him. I mean, he went to Ireland, defended his world title, and the Filipinos were very excited. He's gone to the U.S., he's fighting in the U.S., so he's definitely a guy that could step in and fill a little void. Jack Tapora, another exciting guy. You know, he's getting himself back together, had a little issue in January with his weight. Marlon Tapales, hopefully this year, is fighting for a world title. John Rio Casimiro has a WBO international title fight coming up April 20th. So there's a lot of Filipinos, if they just get the viewership and we're able to put a lot of these fights on ABS-CBN, we'll be able to do that, and someone will be that guy that comes out.
Okay. Now, again, just to follow up, the age of Manny Pacquiao, there's the Nonito Donaire, Brian Viloria. Do you think the fighters that you mentioned are good enough to sustain the momentum that boxing had with Manny Pacquiao?
Well, I think with the partnership with ABS and putting a package together of a guy fighting wherever he fights, if it's England, the U.S., that whole combination of stuff being on TV and the general public being able to see it, has a chance that you know, that guy, whoever, if it's Jerwin Ancajas or the other guys I mentioned, that the viewership, you know, that's what's key. You know, if it does great ratings, ABS gets behind it, then you know, there's never going to be another Senator Manny Pacquiao. But but look at it this way: when there was a Flash Alorde, eventually Manny Pacquiao came. He was the Manny Pacquiao of his day. So, again, I should say never. You never know when potentially that next guy could walk through that door in the gym.
Yeah, you'll never know. And actually, I'm very happy that the big networks now are supporting the boxing event in the Philippines. Before, it's just Manny Pacquiao.
Correct.
Now it's everything. So, my last question to you is, why do you love working with Filipinos? At least, Jerwin, and you're gonna work now with a lot more fighters. Why do you love? Why do you love working with them? What do you see in the Filipino?
What I see is opportunity, and I see guys that have the heart, they have the passion, they have the desire, and they want to be something. But they needed someone to help direct them instead of always just being an opponent, being shipped to Mexico, going to Thailand, whatever. So I think they just needed like a captain of the ship to organize it properly and to get the right fights for them, because anywhere they go, if it's an opponent or a champion, they can bring the best fights. That's why people bring them everywhere around the world. So they just, I see guys that just needed someone to give them that opportunity. And that's what the senator has pretty much said. Hey, I want to help my Filipino fighters.
I know I said the last question, but yes. I had two more.
No problem.
Sorry. What does a fighter need to have in order to be a great boxer, in your perspective?
Well, the first thing you got to have is a chin. You don't teach a chin. You either have a chin or you don't. Heart, that's why it's so difficult to be a great fighter, because there's all these combinations that have to add up. And heart, chin, and train hard, and just the desire to want to do it. And that's what a lot of these guys are. Because look, unfortunately, it's very hard upbringing. It's a way to get out of poverty here. So, as long as they have the heart, a good chin, and desire to do it, I can take a guy and work them properly, matchmaking, and put them through to get to a point where they got to get better than me. I can match them to a certain point, and then they got to be better than me, because then you're going to fight the top, whatever, the champion or the top 5. So I think there's a lot of guys here. They just needed the opportunity.
Okay. Now, if they have the chin, they have the heart, they have the willingness, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Can they reach out to you? And how can they reach out to you so you can help them? Be bigger, have more exposure. Those things.
Any of them can find me. Any given day, walking around the Philippines, or through Facebook. Just go on Facebook Messenger, hit me anytime. A lot of people do already, so yeah, Facebook Messenger under Sean Gibbons, and I'll be right there for you.
All right. Any last message that you wanted to say?
No, just again, watch May 4th, ABS-CBN. Jerwin Ancajas defend his world title for the 7th time, and Viva Filipino. I want to let everybody know, for your latest Filipino news, my friend, who I've known a long time here, Mr. Powcast, tune in to his channel and watch Powcast.
Woo, there you go.
The champ.
Woo. Thanks, Sean.